Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Kulbhushan Chandel from Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Today we are going to talk on module Laboratory Learning Theories from paper Organizational Change and Development. Let me know that what we are going to learn from this module. We will study the concept of laboratory learning theories and their use in organization development. Through this very module, we will be understanding the laboratory learning theory we applied in the organizations. We will study when would laboratory learning theory be used. We will be studying the use of laboratory learning in organization development programs. We will be discussing the life and career planning, and finally we will be knowing the career anchors through this module. The objective of the organization development interventions is to achieve the greater efficiency of human resources through increased involvement and participation at all levels. There has been a movement among major corporations towards the development of the managerial capabilities to deal with the non-recurring situations which face the managers in a changing environment. Managers today are facing difficulties as they have to make change in a very short span of time. One of the methods to overcome these difficulties is laboratory learning. Laboratory learning techniques are also known as sensitivity training and T-group training. These are unstructured group meetings of 10 to 12 members with a professional facilitator in which the group members experiment with the behaviors. The term laboratory learning means a setting where one experiments with the behavior and form the responses received by him. He is also free to continue that behavior or to adjust to a more effective mode. The participants are encouraged to attempt behaviors which have not been previously characterized as their style. Laboratory learning is a less popular organization development intervention technique. It is used as means of improving individual skills and group processes. These programs evolved from the early group dynamic work of Kurt Lewin and by Tavistock Institute in England. These programs are focused on group dynamics, interpersonal communication, relationship skills, and increased self-awareness of self and others. Laboratory learning. A laboratory learning technique was originated in 1947 and has evolved into a very widely used technique for management and organization development. Though there is availability of the reliable data, it has grown immensely over the past 2 decades. These techniques consist of the different types of nomenclatures like sensitivity training, T groups, Gestalt therapy theories, self-awareness groups, and probably more than still evolving. These laboratory learning techniques are the rough types of techniques which comes in the range of group process or problem-centered approaches at one end and a highly personalized therapy at the other end. The Tavistock approach and the early approach of Lewin come in the group-centered approach. At the same time, the therapeutic and comprises of the SLN type group which deals with the physical encounters, fantasizing and body awareness. The encounter group produces experiences where the participants are looking for inward and examining him. In the middle situation, the anti-Y type laboratories which focuses on both group process and personal growth. Out of these, the anti-L type laboratory learning is the most widely used technique of organization development programs. This approach focuses on the intrapersonal issues such as encounter groups. The main objectives, characteristics, and the organization development applications, results, and some comments on the use of the methods are discussed as under. Objective of laboratory learning. The laboratory learning techniques are used to increase the interpersonal skills of managers in their leadership, group, and organizational situations. The general concept of the laboratory learning comprises of the use of group as laboratory for experimenting, learning, and discovering the cause and effect relationships in the interpersonal communication. The main objective of the laboratory learning technique is as under. Improved insights into managerial and personal style. An increased ability to assess one's impact on others. A greater awareness of the conditions that facilitate or inhibit group functioning. Increased skill in analyzing and coping with the change and ambiguous problem situations. The above mentioned objectives are the main objectives of the laboratory learning technique, but the practitioner mainly emphasizes on some objectives more than others. Like one practitioner may emphasize on the group processes and other may focus on increased awareness of one's personal behavior. The above mentioned objectives are not static one, but these can also have some degree of flexibility and are determined by the group. Laboratory design characteristics. The learning programs generally comprises of the 10 to 12 participants along with 1 or 2 experienced trainers and facilitators. These group sessions generally need 1 to 2 week time span, but sometimes these may also last for 3 days or less. The laboratory learning program is generally conducted at a place isolated from the work environment. The T group experience is generally very powerful for its members. The proper isolated location provides a climate conducive for change and a behavioral freedom which is not found in the organizational settings. Following are the main factors and characteristics upon which laboratory learning techniques are based upon. Group interaction in an unstructured setting. Laboratory learning techniques are the unstructured one. There is no agenda and no formal objective in this technique. This forces the participants to cope up with the lack of structure and also help in development of the ability to deal with the ambiguous situation when there is no precedence or routine. Then it comes emphasis on group dynamics data. The data used for analysis does not lie outside the group parameters, but rather the data comprises of the shared and simultaneous experiences that emerge as the group evolve. The data with which the employees work are the interactions between the members as they have to strive to create an environment in which they can learn and develop from the basis of learning. The members are also learning from their own feelings, motives, and strategies from the reactions which are produced when they interact with others. The main subject matter for learning about self and others are as under: the decision process, the attempts to influence communication patterns, coping mechanisms for participants. Focus on here and now. Laboratory learning methods concentrate on immediate focus on here and now. This provides data for learning as a model of other organization situations rather than dealing with the hypothetical background applications. In the T group training, the main focus is on real-time learning and on what is happening right now, right here in this group between one and others. The participant is made to learn regarding how to learn. Theoretical framework. To help and integrate the experimental learning, brief theory sessions are presented at numerous points as a means of assisting in understanding interpersonal relations and group dynamics experiences. This could comprise of a 10 minutes lecture on a topic of concern of the group. Laboratory learning technique is not a vehicle which is used for destroying the individual's defense, but rather it aims to make him aware of them. This T group is not intended for group criticism or self-flagellation. Even a stranger group could be created. The early meetings could be tensed and confined. Some members might attempt to introduce the structure, gain influence and power, and to dominate others. Others could be frustrated, guarded, and silent. During later stages, the group is marked by warmth, collaborations, and trust. Group members generally comment that they feel closer to other members due to sharing of experiences. Thus, the laboratory learning comprises of an unstructured group where members examine the interrelationship between members' roles and group processes. The underlying assumption is that a more effective individual will lead to a more effective organization. Use of laboratory learning in organizational development programs. In 1958, Robert Black and Shepard initiated the use of laboratory learning in company-wide programs which were aimed at improving the organizational efficiency. Today, many major corporations have started using it. Many organization development programs have used stranger laboratories where the participants have had no previous working or continuing relationship as preliminary phase and have then moved to team development and intergroup programs. Many organizations have started making their employees to attend the T group sessions as a part of the overall organizational development program. These programs are aimed more at the organization system or culture than at individual. The organization development efforts emphasize on the development of a supportive environment of more flexible and innovative working relationships and of increased involvement and participation at all levels. The managers are more adaptable when the main task of management is to deal with the change. For achieving the collaboration, any change program must deal with multi-level of the organization: individual, interpersonal level, team, division, and organizational level. The laboratory learning techniques not only increases the managerial skill but also help in developing the work team until eventually the work efforts becomes the organization's wide. Kaizen laboratory. The Kaizen laboratory comprises of the members from different parts of the same organizations, but they don't have direct relationship with each other. It allows the learning about the group and intergroup problems and also about the personal growth. Cluster laboratories. The cluster laboratories comprises of people from different parts of the organization and brings together 3 or 4 work related people such as group from sales, group from manufacturing, and group from accounting and finance. Then it comes family laboratories. The family laboratories comprises of the work team which includes managers and his direct subordinates. The family groups work on how members work together and on diagnosing the problems within the company. In the laboratory settings, the individual learning and relational change might occur. The assumption is that the individual learning and relational change may occur. The assumption is that improvement in the individual manager's interpersonal skill will lead to better organization. Managers, after returning from the laboratories, training may apply the interpersonal or managerial styles only to find whether the environment is sportive or non-sportive. Only the key managers attend the laboratories, and often it is prerequisite to other successful organization development efforts. The main reason is that no matter how good or how fair a manager is, his subordinates have a powerful feelings towards him. Red flags in laboratory learning programs or challenging situations in applying laboratory learning. There are certain red flag warning signals which are used to alert the consultant to potential problems in a particular situation. The main red flag warning signals are readiness of organization cultures, then voluntary participation of members, then the transfer of learning to back home situations, then group therapy, and finally the use of trained facilitators. Results of laboratory learning efforts. Some of the organizations have used the laboratory learning as the organization's development programs. There are no clear-cut mentioning of the empirical studies to document the effectiveness, but there are numerous research studies conducted in this regard to determine the effect of T group to provide the managerial performance. Some studies state that the T group training has resulted in the increased productivity, and some have stated that it has increases the self-insight and awareness upon others, and the observable change have been observed. Life and career planning. There are various approaches that are present for helping the individuals to think through and analyze the life and career trajectory. This information is generally used in workshop and other educational settings in the context of small group discussions and some theory inputs also. These are given by Edgar Schein, Herbert Shepard, and Jack Fordyce and Raymond Weil. Career anchors. Edgar Schein has given this concept, which is used for individuals and in voluntary group discussions in career development workshops. Based on the longitudinal study in MIT Sloan School alumni, Schein hypothesized 5 basic anchors. As defined by Schein, the career anchor is the pattern of self-perceived talents, motives, and values that serve to guide, constrain, stabilize, and integrate the person's career, and that tends to remain stable throughout the person's career. The main career anchors are as under: technical competence. The entire career is organized around a particular set of technical or functional skills which a person is good at and values, leading to self-concept of remaining in an occupation that would continue to provide challenging work around those particular skills wherever they were. Managerial competence. The entire career is organized around climbing an organizational ladder to achieve a position of responsibility in general management in which decisions and their consequences could be clearly related by the individual to his own efforts in analyzing problems, dealing with people, and making difficult in uncertain conditions. Creativity. The entire career is organized around the same kind of entrepreneurial skills and efforts which would permit the individuals to create a new service or product, to invent something, and to build his or her own business. Then it comes security or stability. The entire career is organized around the location of an organizational niche that would guarantee continued employment, stable future, and the ability to provide comfortable for family through achieving the measures of financial independence. Autonomy. The entire career is organized around finding an occupation such as teaching, consulting, writing, or something equivalent which permits the individual to determine his own hours, lifestyle, and working patterns. Let's summarize what we have learned in this module. We have learned from this module that there has been a movement among major corporations towards the development of the managerial capability to deal with the non-recurring situations which face the managers in a changing environment. Managers today are facing difficulties as they have to make change in a very short span of time. One of the methods to overcome these difficulties is laboratory learning, as we have learned from this module. Laboratory learning techniques are also known as sensitivity training and T-group training. These are unstructured group meetings of 10 to 12 members with a professional facilitators in which the group members experiment with the behavior. We came to know that the term laboratory learning means a setting where one experiments with behavior and from the responses received by him. He is also free to continue that behavior or to adjust to a more effective mode. The participants are encouraged to attempt behaviors which have not been previously characterized as their style. Laboratory learning is a less popular organization development intervention technique. It is used as means of improving individual skills and group processes. These programs evolved from the early group dynamic work of Kurt Lewin and by Tavistock Institute in England. These programs are focused on group dynamics, interpersonal communication, relationship skills, and increased self-awareness of self and others. A laboratory learning technique has originated in 1947 and has evolved into a very widely used technique for management and organization development. Though there is availability of the reliable data, it has grown immensely over the past 2 decades. These techniques consist of the different types of nomenclatures like sensitivity training, T groups, Gestalt therapy theories, self-awareness groups, and probably more than still evolving. These laboratory learning techniques are the rough type of techniques which comes in the range of group process or problem-centered approaches at one end and highly personalized therapy at the other end. The laboratory learning techniques are used to increase the interpersonal skill of managers in their leadership, group and organizational situations. The general concept of the laboratory learning comprises of the use of the group as laboratory for experimenting, learning, and discovering the cause and effect relationship in the interpersonal communication. In the laboratory setting, the individual learning and relational change might occur. The assumption is that the individual learning and relational change may occur. The assumption is that that improvement in the individual managers' interpersonal skill will lead to the better organizations. The managers, after returning from the laboratory training, may apply the interpersonal or managerial style only to find whether the environment is sportive or non-sportive. Only the key managers attend the laboratories, and often it is prerequisite to other successful organizational development efforts. The main reason is that no matter how good or how fair a manager is, his subordinates have the powerful feelings towards him. Thank you.